SOH Radio presents AsiaCast, keeping you across the top headlines from Asia and the world.
I'm Dennis Wu with AsiaCast. In this bulletin, China's economic recovery, too good to be true. Hu Jia nominated for Nobel Peace Prize for second year running, and the cause of Michael Jackson's death remains unknown. But first, here is SOH focus on China. China's economy may not have actually entered into a recovery as Beijing would like many foreign investors to think, says the Epoch Times. This despite a much lauded 4 trillion yuan, $585 million economic stimulus plan. While the plan has meant China's banks granted more loans in 3 months than in the whole year of 2008, stocks have soared and the real estate market has seen a big first quarter increase. Some financial experts are warning that China's economy is merely experiencing a brief surge that will overexcite the market and will create problems in the long term. Xu Xiaonan is one of these critics. He says efforts to stimulate investment in China are only aggravating the underlying imbalance that causes the crisis in the first place. Chinese descendant Hu Jia, who was nominated for the 2008 Nobel Peace Prize, has been nominated again for this year. The decision has aroused much attention around the world, according to the Epoch Times. In December 2007, Hu participated in many social and human rights movements. He was detained by the Chinese regime on charges of overthrowing state power and was sentenced to 3 years and 6 months in prison in March 2008. Following Hu's 2008 nomination, AFP reported that the Chinese regime appealed to the prize committee not to consider awarding the prize to a criminal. The decision to award last year's Peace Prize to former Finland President Martti Ahtisaari led to the Nobel Foundation being criticized for failing to put emphasis on the Chinese regime's suppression of Tibet and human activists. And now for the rest of today's AsiaCast. A secret trial of a woman in Thailand charged with insulting the Thai royal family has been condemned by Amnesty International. The woman was arrested a year ago after giving a speech in Bangkok in which she attacked the monarchy. The start of her trial was delayed this week when her lawyer appeared against the decision to hold a closed trial. Critics say strict laws against insulting the monarchy are being used to stifle discussion of its future. Thailand concedes that these particular laws are imperfect, but says they protect the monarchy. Sam Zarafi from Amnesty International has warned that when a judge closes the door on a trial, it significantly raises the risk of injustice taking place. Ms. Darani faces between 9 and 45 years in prison if she is convicted. There are fears of a new bout of deflation in Japan as official figures from the Ministry of Finance show that prices fell by a record amount. Consumer prices fell 1.1% in May from the same month a year ago, the most since records began in the 1970s. Prices of goods excluding fresh food also fell for the third straight month. Japan was previously trapped in a deflationary spiral, where prices of goods kept falling during its lost decade in the 1990s. Deflation is damaging to an economy because consumers tend to delay making purchases until the prices fall further. This in turn drives down prices more. Without consumer spending to stimulate growth, economic output falls.
You are listening to AsiaCast on the SOH Radio Network.
The United States has said it has no concerns that advanced military technologies will be leaked to China through its weapons sales to Taiwan. Stephen Young, the de facto U.S. ambassador to Taiwan, says that Taipei has very effective means in controlling such technology and that Washington will continue to look closely at Taiwan's arms sales requests. Young said that while the US welcomes the reduction of tensions between Taiwan and China, it is also aware that much of Beijing's relentless military build-up is directed at Taiwan. Describing the triangular relations among Taipei, Beijing, and Washington, Young said that he believes that the efforts of all three could help reduce the possibility that Taiwan may be a landmine in the US-China relations, as some have suggested. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office has completed the autopsy of the body of pop star Michael Jackson, but the cause of death has not been determined and further tests have been ordered, a spokesperson said. Craig Harvey, operations chief for the coroner, also said that the autopsy showed no sign of external trauma or indication of foul play. The cause of death has been deferred, which means the medical examiner has ordered additional testing, such as toxicology and other studies, Harvey told a throng of reporters. He said that once those tests are completed in 4 to 6 weeks, the coroner's office anticipate being able to close the case and issuing a final cause of death. This has been Dennis Wu for the SOH Radio Network.
AsiaCast, keeping you across the top headlines from Asia and the world.